Jarrell Correll Jr. Was a petty officer first class when I left the Navy. The weapons division we had in our division, we had sonarmen, torpedomen, gunner's mates. So we were responsible, our division as a whole, responsible for torpedoes, standard torpedoes, ASROCs, which were our rocket thrown torpedoes that come out of the launching cell. We had, I'm trying to think how many people in that division on the box, but we didn't have an operating or ASROC or certified ASROC, so we really only had the standard torpedoes. But that was tough because on the older ships like the Fox, even for the other gunner's mates that weren't in our division, we had a couple that dealt with the ASROC launcher, but standard gunner's mates that worked the gun mounts, everything was hand passed. So when we loaded the ship with shells or torpedoes, they might have been craned on, but we carried everything, or we re-rolled them on dollies. There was no elevator lifting of shells, and we handed shells down ladders. And I mean, it was a tough ship to work on because we didn't have that automation like some of the newer ships today had. So we operated closely. We helped maintain, I'll never forget, we helped maintain the torpedo tubes. We had what they call 3 torpedo tube mounts on the torpedo decks forward by the captain's cabin. On that deck, we helped maintain them as well because we kind of helped each other. We helped load them, we helped test them, shifting things around. As a reserve ship, I kind of forgot this, our torpedo magazine sometimes was used as a cold storage for coffins. Because part of the reserve ship in Brooklyn, we used to take out do a lot of burials at sea. We would go off out past Ambrose Light. We would conduct burials at sea. So we used to take out and use our torpedo magazine for storage for coffins. And one thing that comes to mind now, it's kind of funny. Every time you come out from the ocean, you do a freshwater washdown, so you don't get all the running rust. You clean all the salt off the ship. And I'll never forget, I was assigned to the torpedo deck to do freshwater washdown. And I'm sitting there with the fire hose, hitting that bulkhead with all this water coming out of the end of a fire hose. And I hear somebody yelling. I shut it off, I look around, I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So I go back to doing it again. And I hear somebody yelling again, and then I'm looking at where my water's hitting the bulkhead outside. And there's 2 portholes, there's one on each side. That happened to be the captain's cabin. And I guess he didn't dog down the porthole. So he didn't pay attention for them passing the word to say, close all the portholes, dog down the doors and all that for freshwater washdown. So every time my water hit that porthole, it would swing open and shoot water into his cabin. Now I'm a 3rd class petty officer. After I realized what was happening and who was yelling at me, I shut it off, dropped the thing, went aft, and I'm going, what do I do? So I've always talked to one of my buddies that was on watch. And I said, I'm just going to go to the captain's cabin and take my licks, I guess you'd say. So I'll never forget, I walked up the ladder to his cabin, and the executive officer was standing in his door, and I'm going, oh, now I'm really in for it. The XO's here, Captain. So the XO asked me, says, Petty Officer Correll, can I help you? And without thinking about it, not meaning any disrespect, I said, no, I don't want to talk to you. I need to talk. It wasn't no, sir. It was a no. I need to talk to the captain. But he was real cool about it, and I walked in and I did apologize, and he said, no, it was not your fault, it was mine. I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and the sad thing about it was right below the porthole was a small bookshelf. It was soaked. So that was an experience. I thought I was in big trouble, but no, he was pretty cool about it.